Can you tell what movie I just got done watching? Can you tell? Do you need a hint? If you need a hint, it's Spider-Man. I saw Spider-Man Brand New Day. Let's talk about it spoiler free. Heavy on the spoiler free. I apologize now at the very tippy top of this video for any vague sort of talk. I apologize that this might be a little shorter as well, but I really want to preserve the experience for you. I don't want to spoil anything. There's some major threads in there that I think are very exciting if you don't know really anything going in. So I am going to keep this as spoiler free as possible while also trying to engage with the movie critically. But I gotta say, I think this might be my favorite Tom Holland outing yet as Spider-Man. I love No Way Home. Don't get me wrong, I love No Way Home. I don't care that it's all technically fan service, but I think what we got with Brand New Day is such a emotionally grounded outing. I think it feels so mature with its characters and its plot. I feel like visually, for the most part, it feels like a nice change of pace. And this outing felt so intentional. Every character, every decision felt like they were serving the narrative. It didn't feel like we were just doing things to kind of wink at the camera. And while that can be fun, and I do think is enjoyable entertainment and valid, I think it was really nice that it felt so story focused this time. Everything felt like it was serving the story. In this outing, Peter Parker is fighting full-time as Spider-Man in a world that doesn't remember him, and he is struggling to move on from his old life. He is also experiencing a personal change that he may or may not have the power to control, all while he confronts a shocking new adversary that nobody can even see. That's the official logline. That is what is out there to the public, so I did not spoil anything. I think it's also included in the trailer. So with this one, Peter Parker is in the state a lot of people love seeing him in. He is miserable, he is despondent, he is depressed. We're really leaning into and embracing that loneliness and what that means for Peter. I think we established that so well right off the jump. He has been alone now for quite some time, and right off the jump we get this montage of him as Spider-Man that does an excellent job at advancing us time-wise and moving it along a little bit. You know, we don't waste too much time doing exposition. It catches us up really nicely, and it also does a great job at building, you know, how Spider-Man has just grown and grown, but also so has Peter's loneliness. And that's kind of the central crux of this, right? Like, I think with Spider-Man, a lot of the themes coming into play deal with, you know, the responsibility of carrying that mantle and like having to make the difficult decisions. And I think this one we're really grappling with loneliness and what it means to be a hero. And do we have to do it alone? Should we have to do it alone? Is it responsible to, you know, distance ourselves from the people we love to keep them safe? Like, how does that all operate? I think it does a nice job at pulling all of that into play. I think Tom Holland is really, really locked in here as Peter Parker. I love him in these movies, but this, I think, is his strongest performance yet. I think we're really letting him sink his teeth into some material as an actor. You know, I think the first 3 movies was a lot of plucky, aw shucks, Mr. Stark, Peter Parker. No Way Home obviously goes to dark places, but I do think this is one where he really gets to grow up. He isn't playing this plucky high schooler anymore. He's really basking in this kind of adult identity, and I think he's doing a nice job showing a different shade to Peter. I love Zendaya in this as MJ. I think this felt like a culmination of her. She's still the same MJ. She's still like really locked in, but this felt like a really refined and adult version of that character too. I love what she's doing with her. Love the two of them together. I know they're in love in real life. I know they're married, but they are dynamite together. It is so electric watching them work together. I loved seeing Jacob Batalon back on my screen. I think that trio is so fun on my screen always, and it's been a real treat watching the 3 of them grow up together and take these like goofy characters and still maintain the heart and soul of them, but also like grow them up little by little. And this feels like the most grown-up version of these characters. We also got some new faces in this. Tramel Tillman joins us. I think he is doing a great job. I mean, he's a terrific actor. I wish there was maybe a little more to that character. It was a kind of predictable role, but I think he's good. You know, John Bernthal as Frank Castle, the Punisher, brings a lot of color to this. I think him and Tom together are a lot of fun actually to watch. And we have Liza Colon-Zayas as Jean DeWolf, and I think she's actually actually really great. I really love what she was doing there. She has this like gentle maternal kind of energy towards Spider-Man. I loved how that kind of poured into the character, but also she is firm and she is no nonsense, and I think it's a beautiful blend in that regard. And then of course the girly on everybody's mind in terms of new characters, new faces, we have Sadie Sink. We're not spoiling anything, I'm not going to get too into detail on her, but she is terrific. She is truly a star. I've said since Stranger Things she is going to go places. She's so phenomenal in every project I see her do, but here she really truly shines. She really just commands every like frame she's in, but there's also this intensity that you can't look away from, all kind of compensating for this like ache beneath her and this vulnerability. I think it's a really fun performance. I really love what she did with that character. Speaking of new, we have Destin Daniel Cretton behind the camera, and I think it was such a great decision to bring him in to direct this. It just feels like a breath of fresh air. You can just feel the new energy behind it. I think it was a nice refresher that this character in this franchise really needed. He knows how to capture action and movement. I think a lot of these action sequences really shine, and they feel very visceral. They feel very tangible and practical. I think a lot of these Marvel movies feel like, oh, we're in front of a screen again. Is this real? Are they really there? This felt like very like practical and tactile, and I appreciated that. Also with the big bad that is advertised in the trailer, there is like a lot of specific movement in that regard as it like moves through the space, and I think he captures that really well. Of course, a big topic of conversations has been the recreations of the iconic comic book covers. I think those are done very well. There are some shots, special effects wise, that looked maybe a little wonky at the beginning. I didn't find anything like terribly distracting, as opposed to some other Marvel disasters we've gotten. I think the visual effects hold up pretty solidly here. I was also impressed with how this thing moved. I didn't feel like it dragged on too long. It is a bit predictable. As we started to transition into Act 2 of the movie, I could pretty clearly see where it was going, but I still had fun nonetheless. I don't mind a predictable story if it's done well, and I think this was done fairly well. I think the emotion feels really earned. It had a lot of people sobbing in my theater. It had me welling up. Like, I think the emotion does land. Yeah, it was a nice blend of like this celebration of the legacy of this MCU Spider-Man, but also like looking forward without getting too lost in the weeds of the multiverse. I think a big problem Marvel has been having with a lot of these is some of them are just getting like a little too big for their britches. It's all getting a little bit away from us. This felt like it mattered, but still felt contained, and I appreciated that, and I loved that. I'm sitting at a 4 with this. I am not mad. I really enjoyed my time with this. I definitely don't think it's like redefining the genre or the wheel, but I think this is what we needed at this point in the MCU. I think this is what we needed for this next installment of Spider-Man. I think after that original 3 film cycle, this was like the next thing we needed to kind of rev it up. So yeah, I'm really content. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you do all the things you're supposed to do with a YouTube video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, follow me everywhere, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.